In the celestial realms, beyond the veil of human understanding, a scroll sealed with 7 seals lay in the hand of the Lamb. The scroll contained the mysteries of the end of days, the fate of humanity, and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. Only the Lamb, symbolizing Jesus Christ, was deemed worthy to break the seals and reveal the contents. As the seals began to break, the forces of destruction were unleashed upon the world, heralded by 4 fearsome riders on horses of different colors. Each rider brought a distinct form of calamity, marking the stages of the impending apocalypse. This is the tale of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, agents of divine judgment, and their harrowing journey across the earth. The first seal was broken, and out of the light of the heavens rode a rider on a white horse. Clad in gleaming armor, he carried a bow, and a crown was placed upon his head. This was the White Horseman, often known as Conquest or Victory. His appearance was deceiving, for at first glance, he seemed to be a bearer of peace and righteousness. The color white, often associated with purity, masked the true nature of his mission. He rode forth to conquer, not through brute force, but through subjugation, diplomacy, and the spread of power. Throughout history, the White Horseman's influence could be seen in the rise and fall of empires, the spread of ideologies, and the conquest of lands in the name of a higher cause. But there was a sinister side to his mission. Some believed that he represented a false messiah, a figure of deception who would lead nations astray, conquering not with arrows, but with words and promises that would ultimately bring ruin. The debate raged on among theologians. Was this rider a symbol of Christ's return, or was he the harbinger of the Antichrist, the one who would deceive the world before the final reckoning? As he rode, the world fell into chaos, with nations rising against nations, all in the name of conquest. The White Horseman's bow remained unstrung, a symbol that his power lay not in war, but in the cunning manipulation of peace. His conquest was silent, creeping across the land like a shadow, until entire kingdoms had fallen under his control. The second seal was broken, and the world trembled as the Red Horseman appeared. Mounted on a fiery red horse, he wielded a great sword that glinted menacingly in the light. The color of his steed reflected the bloodshed that followed in his wake. This rider was war, the embodiment of violence and strife. His task was clear: to take peace from the earth and incite men to kill one another. The Red Horseman's arrival signaled the end of tranquility. Where once there was harmony, now there was discord. Brother turned against brother, and nations plunged into the abyss of warfare. The great sword he carried was not just a weapon, but a symbol of authority, representing the power that rulers wielded to lead their people into battle. Yet, the horseman's influence extended beyond the battlefield. He sowed seeds of civil unrest, causing societies to collapse from within as trust eroded and fear took hold. In his wake, the world was bathed in blood. Cities burned, and the cries of the innocent filled the air. The Red Horseman reveled in the chaos, for he was the agent of destruction, the one who thrived in the heart of war. As he rode across the lands, peace became a distant memory, and the earth was left scarred by his wrath. With the breaking of the third seal, the Black Horseman emerged, riding a dark, shadowy horse. In his hand he held a pair of scales, a symbol of balance and judgment. But in his hands these scales represented something far more ominous: famine. The Black Horseman was the harbinger of scarcity, bringing with him the curse of hunger and economic despair. As he rode, the price of food skyrocketed, and the staples of life became luxuries. Bread was weighed carefully, and families found themselves unable to afford the most basic necessities. The land, once fertile and abundant, turned barren under his gaze. The Black Horseman's power lay in his ability to disrupt the balance of plenty and need, plunging societies into a state of desperation. Yet, amidst the famine, a curious command was given: "Do not harm the oil and the wine." These words carried a deeper meaning, suggesting that even in times of great scarcity, certain luxuries would remain untouched, preserved for the wealthy and the powerful. The poor would suffer, but the rich would continue to indulge, widening the chasm between the haves and have-nots. The Black Horseman's scales tipped the balance, not in favor of fairness, but towards inequality, ensuring that famine would not just be a matter of hunger, but of injustice. The fourth seal was broken, and the most terrifying of the horsemen appeared. He rode a pale horse, its color a sickly green, reminiscent of decay and the stench of death. The rider's name was Death, and Hades followed close behind him, gathering the souls of the departed. The Pale Horseman was the embodiment of the end, bringing with him the finality of death and the destruction of life. Wherever the Pale Horseman rode, he left a trail of corpses in his wake. He wielded the power to kill. By sword, famine, plague, and wild beasts, his reach extending to every corner of the earth. The color of his horse, chloros, the Greek word for greenish yellow, symbolized the color of a decaying corpse, a fitting mount for the harbinger of death. But death was not alone. Hades, the ruler of the underworld, followed him closely, ready to claim the souls that death had harvested. Together, they represented the ultimate fate that awaited all: death and the grave. The Pale Horseman's arrival signaled the end of all things, the conclusion of the earthly journey and the final reckoning of humanity. As he rode, the world succumbed to his power. Plague swept through cities, famine ravaged the land, and wild beasts roamed freely, claiming lives at every turn. The Pale Horseman was the final arbiter, the one who brought the apocalypse to its inevitable conclusion. With the four horsemen unleashed, the world teetered on the brink of annihilation. Conquest, war, famine, and death had each played their part, unraveling the fabric of human civilization. Nations lay in ruins, their people decimated by the relentless onslaught of the horsemen's power. Yet, this was not the end, for the seventh seal had yet to be broken. In the heavens, the angels watched in silence as the events unfolded. The scroll, now almost fully unsealed, held the final mysteries of the apocalypse. The horsemen had done their work, but their purpose was not merely to destroy, but to prepare the world for what was to come. They were the harbingers, the messengers of the end times, and their arrival signaled the approach of the final judgment. As the storm gathered on the horizon, humanity stood at the crossroads. Would they succumb to the darkness, or would they find a way to endure the trials that had been set before them? The fate of the world hung in the balance, and the final act was about to begin. The time had come for the final seal to be broken. As the Lamb reached out to break the seventh seal, a great silence fell over the heavens. The four horsemen had ridden across the earth, leaving devastation in their wake, but their purpose was not to bring about the end, but to herald its coming. They were the agents of divine will, the instruments of judgment, and their task was now complete. As the final seal was broken, the heavens opened, and the true nature of the apocalypse was revealed. The world had been tested, and now the final judgment awaited. The four horsemen faded into the shadows, their work done as the final act of the divine plan unfolded. In the end, the story of the four horsemen was not just a tale of destruction, but of the eternal struggle between good and evil, and the ultimate triumph of the divine will. They were not just harbingers of doom, but symbols of the forces that shape the destiny of the world, reminding humanity of the fragility of their existence and the power of the divine. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey through the apocalypse with the four horsemen. We've explored the harbingers of conquest, war, famine, and death, delving into their legendary roles and the devastation they bring. What did you think of their story? Do you believe their influence is still felt today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing explorations into history and legend. Also, be sure to check out our other videos for more deep dives into fascinating topics. Your support means the world to me. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more timeless treasures from Salazar's Timeless Treasures.